Hey guys, welcome to Box Office Addict, my weekly podcast where I discuss the weekend numbers at the box office, which is obvious because of the title. And we look at what expectations were versus reality, and then I answer questions in the chat and we talk about movies. If this is your first time on Box Office Addict, just kind of try to have fun with the chat and enjoy the show. It's got a little analytical, but lots of tangents and a lot of comedy side things. I have some stuff for you guys this week, though, as I do every so often, because sometimes I'm not a lazy bastard and I actually put a little effort into this. Hello, Bathory. Hello, Pete. Hey, Broseph. Noel's in there. Hey, Noel, I watched your videos, man. I'm going to be talking about them eventually when I get the podcast done. So here's what happened with the podcast. So me and Blood Money go to record the first episode, and it's about Phantom Thread. We talk for 2 hours. Everything goes fine. I go listen to the recording afterwards. Everything sounds like crap, especially on Blood Money's end. Some microphone issue. So we lost the first episode, so we're having to redo it, which sucks, but we're getting around to it. So I apologize. There was supposed to be the first episode of the podcast up this weekend, and basically we couldn't schedule it again. We were going to do it last night, but I got drunk last night and played video games at somebody's house that I didn't really know. I just went over there to hang out. My girlfriend wanted to go hang out somewhere, so I said, alright, we'll go to your friend's house. And the dude had his Xbox hooked up, and he had like 300 games on there. And he was like, do you want to play like a new skin of the old Power Rangers beat 'em up game? And I was like, do I? Do you got Turtles in Time on here? Can we play some Battletoads? So a couple beers became several beers, and then it was very late. And I was like, oh crap, I was supposed to record the podcast again. So, my bad. Whoops. Whoops, people. Hey, Noel. You know what? Noel, I gotta tell you. I'm gonna AJ, man. I love AJ. Just tell AJ that. Tell him that I love him, and I think he's gonna be a star. And I've had hours of conversation about AJ. I'm not lying here. I've had at least a 2-hour conversation discussing AJ. And I've had at least even longer expanding beyond hours conversations about your short films. I have dissected them. I have found subtext that is not there. I have studied every frame and every shot and given it all this meaning. I've made it an esoteric work of mastery. I've turned you into David Lynch. I've navel gazed every single shot. I'm doing the reverse of nitpicking. I'm finding beauty in everything. And AJ himself is like an angel cometh down and shine on me. Am I pissed? No. I'm all right. My voice is a little off because I have acid reflux, so I get a little bad. I get a little hot chest, and my stomach hurts a lot when I drink. So I drank last night, so I'm fine. I've just drank a lot of water and eating. I'm a little tired. But yeah, no, it's Blood Money and I had a long conversation about Noel's short films. It wasn't all good, it wasn't all bad, but it wasn't all bad either. There was a lot of we both fell in love with AJ and your obsession with fight scenes. Your obsession that everything has to have a fight scene. You guys hear me now, Noel, this filmmaker who will be famous one day. If there's a scene that requires no fight scene, I mean a family sitting down to dinner, a child going and getting ice cream, Noel will make it a damn fight scene. Noel doesn't care. It's a raid movie in Noel's eyes. If there's any chance to throw in a good beat-em-up scene, Noel likes to watch his friend beat up his other friends and film it. And I like to watch Noel film his friend beating up his other friends and film, and I enjoy that as well. I love the idea that you just like, AJ, go beat these people up for me. And you're like, well, isn't this kind of like a Holocaust short story? Isn't this about, yes, and you're gonna go beat the crap out of them. It's beautiful, like, you know those quiet scenes in Blade Runner where everyone's just sitting around pondering humanity and life and thinking about the next decision they're gonna make? In a Noel movie, it wouldn't be that way. In a Noel movie, Deckard would just be like, F Roy Batty, and he'd punch him in the face. And him and Roy would have a fist fight, and it would be awesome. It'd be awesome. And I mean this. Noel's a genius. Anyway, it's clearly the alt-right that's messing with its box office numbers. That's what it is with A Wrinkle of Time. Oh yeah, we have to talk about Ava Diversity this weekend. My favorite filmmaker. She made the documentary 13th. and the very acclaimed film Selma. And now she had her big break here. And unlike Ryan Coogler, who went from, pretty popular indie director who had made a name with himself with Creed to, like, holy crap. The podcast is called Real Discussions. It's not called Patcast. We almost went with the reason the vote got skewed is because Blood Money went and did a bunch of fake votes at the end. But the final vote was we did a poll on Twitter that people voted on, and Real Discussions won by 1%. It was very close. It was between Don't Fast Forward, Real Discussions, and Patcast. So whoever came up with the name Real Discussions, REEL, you pick the name of the podcast, because I had a Twitter poll and that's what we picked. And we recorded the first episode. Sucks. What we're kind of going for is classic Siskel and Ebert. The show's even kind of modeled after that, in particular their 70s and early 80s shows, even before At the Movies. I'm kind of doing the opening like that, but we created that, me being kind of the Ebert and him the Siskel, basically. But we want to create this dynamic, and we're trying to kind of create the image of the two of us sitting in a theater together, and then whatever movie we're talking about, we're looking at it on the screen like Siskel and Ebert did. And we want to do long form that, because we really miss that kind of, like, really critical discussion, being really critical of movies and debating things about the film, because we like debating things, me and him, for fun, because we don't get mad about it. So that's kind of the joy. I used to like how Siskel and Ebert would disagree on stuff. And they both make good points. It'd be interesting back and forth, So that's kind of the, yeah, we were going to just we left. I said, let's just call it Jedi Council. That was an idea, and I was like, they can't do anything. They don't own the name Jedi Council. They can't own that. We could call it whatever we want. We could just be the Jedi Council, and we never talk about Star Wars. Not on any single episode. It's just always a random art film, never anything to do with Star Wars. But thank you for tuning into Box Office Addict. But we have to talk about Ava DuVernay's Wrinkle in Time, which is the box office film of the week. And this was a lot of pressure on this movie because it had a big budget of $103 million, probably $150 million when you include marketing, and more than that. Jesus, I'm sure they have quite a bit of money in this movie. Oprah's in it, for Christ's sakes. Apparently, you're not a dislike. Oh yeah. Anyway, before we get to that, I'm gonna bring up a couple things. So there's this Neil deGrasse Tyson tweet. That's hilarious, that I guess he did before. I think I've talked about the original tweet, and this is like a part 2. So basically, he says, bears repeating, bears, rawr. Creativity that satisfies and affirms your worldview is entertainment. Creativity that challenges and disrupts your worldview is art. Thank you, Mr. Astrophysicist. I'm glad that you told us about art. So let's look up the definition of art. And I know I'm using the feminist thing here, where I pull up the definition. The expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form, such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. Okay, so entertainment, being entertained by something, the feeling of that, I'm going to say that's kind of an emotion and is powerful. Just throwing that out there. And beauty can be several things. The imagery can be beautiful, the awe of an action sequence, the laughter at a joke. A lot of things can be said are beautiful about all sorts of things. I think that's a very broad, just like art itself is very broad. But no, Mr. Tyson is saying that if you don't like Shape of Water, if you don't love Mudbound, if you don't love Lady Bird, if you don't love what they're saying at the Oscars, if you don't like things that challenge your worldview, you just don't appreciate art, and you're too into entertainment. Let me ask you, Neil, what's Black Panther? Is it entertainment, or is it art? And that's the answer I want from you, because that, I think, will say a lot more than me going into this. But, Neil, stick to your profession and leave the art to the artists. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, the other thing that I want to talk about, the Hodgetwins. These guys, I saw them on Crowder. So apparently they got red-pilled by Shapiro. Now, this is just hilarious to me. Okay, folks, all right, I'm so amazing. I'm so great. I'm a little, like, 5'8" Jew. And I can, like, totally red-pill, like, these big 6'3" black guys that are muscular. Because I got huge balls. I'm amazing. I got huge Jewish testicles. I'm so brave, folks. Okay, gang? All right? And the idea that you think that people like this couldn't be conservative because you have a narrow-minded idea of what a conservative can be, well, guess what? All right, people? All right, folks? They're conservative now. Okay? All right, gang? They're on here talking bad about Obama. Okay? Music to my ears. Okay? All right? Okay? Ben, oh Ben, that Valley Girl thing. Okay, all right, okay, okay. Listen, socialism doesn't work, all right. So he comes in like, okay, all right, socialism doesn't work, okay. It's not too far off from Pauly Shore. If Pauly Shore was just way more conservative, it would be Ben Shapiro. It'd be pretty amazing. Hey, welcome to Box Office Addict, where we haven't talked about it at all. My wife's a doctor. She's a doctor, okay, folks? Hodgetwins have been on YouTube for like, oh yeah, they're amazing. They're great. They're great. I love those guys. Very funny. I'm looking through your comments real quick before we get to the box office. I know things got weird. Well, you know what, Bathory? You're solid gold, which is an opening line to David Naughton's Making It. Making it. And the opening, you're solid gold. Well, you're solid gold. That's the new You're Money. You're so money from Swingers. Bathory, you're so gold. You're solid gold. That's what you are. You shine all over the chat, and we're all richer for it. That's what you are. All right, now let's get to the box office, people. The Post. Not posting up big numbers. Oh, God. You guys should give me, like, super chat money for that one. That's a slam dunk. I'm Michael Jordan, that crap. $50 million budget, $154 million worldwide. This had to have made a little bit of money. I can't imagine too much money, though, because I have this weird feeling that the way this was all split up. But there's no way Spielberg lost any money on this. He doesn't do that. He doesn't work that way. Okay, nothing really got a big boost from the Best Picture thing. I thought especially Shape of Water would get a big boost from the Best Picture win, but nothing really. 62% increase, yes, but I thought it would be bigger than that. But didn't this come out on, like, video? I think this is coming out on video, so maybe that affected it. I thought maybe 3 Billboards would get a big bump, too, but it actually fell 45%. Now, it's made $142 million worldwide on a $12 million budget, which is great. But Shape of Water, yeah, I don't know. I guess I overestimated. I just thought that it would be like $5-6 million. But still, $61 million, $20 million budget. Pretty big marketing campaign, all things considered. $148 million worldwide. They spent a lot of money on this movie after it came out. Because you guys got to realize, to promote these kinds of movies for the Oscars, all the parties and the shows, they spent some money to get that Best Picture win. You always do. It's just how it works. This film was out being promoted. A lot of parties, a lot of Del Toro going out and talking to everyone, Richard Jenkins. So the studio has a lot in this movie more than is on paper. There's definitely a lot more money that's been spent. But I think ultimately it's paid off financially and winning Best Picture and Best Director Del Toro, which I don't think anyone quite expected a few months ago. So that was a nice spin for Fox Searchlight. So overall, this was a very successful piece of filmmaking for all involved. But really, it's a successful example of producing. This was very well handled. And they've done a good job, in my opinion, of expanding this film and getting the word out. And it winning Best Picture kind of solidifies it as an overall success. And I'm impressed. I think they did a very good job. I think everything about this, because I'm probably not going to talk about this movie much more. I see its run ending, but they did a solid job getting this out there, and kind of staying under budget and everything like that. Everything was really smart here. Speaking of another successful film that was handled very well, Greatest Showman. $84 million budget, $167 million domestic total. You would not expect from that $8 million opening. Right under $400 million worldwide, but overall that's a very successful movie, and it solidifies kind of the musical is back. Not that it was ever really gone, but post La La Land really being a huge hit and this being a hit, I think we're going to see a lot more live action musicals. And Beauty and the Beast, you have to count that. You have to count the Disney movies. That's probably got a lot to do with it. Female audience members, I think, are going to these more so. I think they're making movies for women, and they're blockbuster-esque movies for women. They're making big budget films that are probably lean a little bit more female, and they're paying off. I think it's just things in movies that have been ignored for a few years, and now they're making the commercial, crappy, generic films for those audiences like they did for different audiences for a long time. Phantom Thread, which was the first episode of the podcast that was lost, has made $41 million worldwide. I think that movie cost like $32 million. And that's not counting marketing and all that. So, who knows? I don't see how that film cost that much. It looked way cheaper. It looked like a movie that cost like $10-15 million to me, personally. But who knows? Maybe he really went out of his way to get it the way he wanted it. Alright, Thoroughbreds. I don't know what the hell this is. 1.2 million in 549 theaters. That's actually not that bad, considering I don't think this film had too much of a push. Let's see how Call Me By Your Name's doing, if that got helped at all by the 34 million, $3.5 million budget. I think this film could have done a lot better. I'd say this is the opposite of The Shape of Water, where Call Me By Your Name was handled horribly, and probably could have won Best Picture, or done better at the box office, but I think it was handled absolutely terribly on release and marketing in all aspects. 50 Shades Freed, $55 million budget, $359 million worldwide, right under $100 million. Not bad. I mean, for the third in a trilogy like this, it's actually doing pretty good. Gringo, let's see. Oh yeah, Martin Luther King's in this. That's odd because Ava DuVernay. 2.6 million. What the hell is this movie? Does anyone know what the hell that movie is? Maybe it was the costume. You're Italian American Catholic. Awesome, bro. Yeah, my expectations have to be subverted for me to enjoy something. See, like Noel, he always subverted my expectations. Like, I'd be watching a Noel video, and I'd be like, oh man, Noel, this is going somewhere. And they'd be like, nope, fight scene, mofo. And then I get an awesome fight scene. Always subverting my expectations. Action is art in Noel's movies. Take that, Neil. Neil, you jerk. Did I break this? You broke my heart. Hey, Fallen Angel. Fallen Angel, you gotta find out how to say those romantic things to Bathory, those nice things so you can win her over. You don't got the right words, man. I want to see this work out, but you gotta be sweeter. You gotta find nicer things to say. Alright. You also have to remember that the media complained about Call Me By Your Name and has been accused of pedophilia. That's true. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. What did I miss? You missed the world, baby. And I gave it to you. I gave it to you. I don't mind a creepy premise to a movie. That doesn't bother me. I like Todd Solondz Happiness, which has a very controversial character. I like movies that are about things that are controversial because those things are real. Those things happen. And they should be explored in movies. And that I'm drunk those times, Pat. Well, damn it, Fallen Angel. Get it together. Don't be a fallen angel. Rise and be the best angel. Think about it that way. Next time I see you, I want it to be Angel, not Fallen Angel. Alright. What? Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, 2.7 million, 397 million domestic, 934 million worldwide. I'd say this is the greatest achievement since the Spider-Man trilogy. Because I don't totally count Skyfall as a Sony achievement. I count it as James Bond achievement, because that had a lot to do with the anniversary of 50 years. This is the single greatest achievement of Sony Studios financially, in right up there with Spider-Man. Sam Raimi. This is a great achievement. I mean, come on, it's Jumanji 2. Annihilation's getting annihilated at the box office. It's amazing. God, I'm good. So funny. 11 million opening weekend, 26 mil domestic, 40 million budget. Not doing that great, but really this is going to be on Netflix. So really, all things considered, it's not doing that bad either. The Hurricane Heist. Oh my. What the hell is the Hurricane Heist? Is this a 35 million? Jesus crud. Holy crow. Holy crow. That's an old one. Okay, gang. Holy crow. Alright, folks. Rob Cohen? The Rob Cohen? Mr. Fast and Furious Triple X? Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor? My boy Rob Cohen, Mr. Dragonheart? Hell yeah, man. My boy Rob's moving up in the world. Good for you, boy. The Hurricane Heist. Damn. I don't know what the hell this is. I'm looking this movie up when this show's over. 3.1 million. Yeah, it's not really catching on. It's unfortunate. Really unfortunate. I was really rooting for that movie. Sony is hitting it out of the park. Dead Silence was quite decent. See, she's trying to tell you to stay silent. I can read between the lines here. Bathory's like, Dead Silence is really good. And she's like, yeah, I get what I'm saying. Silence. Dead Silence. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm reading between the lines. I understand. You are early this time. Welcome, my friend. Dragonheart, Knight of the Old Code. It's great. The score, it's like a score that's used in every trailer. It's like Requiem for a Dream. You just go see movie trailers and you're like, that's a score from Dragonheart. Most people don't even know it's the score from Dragonheart. Or Shawshank Redemption, that score is used in every damn movie trailer. And it should be. Yes, the Dragonheart. The dragon who took my heart. I wish there was more movies with talking dragons as the good guy. Right? Right, we need more talking dragon movies. Should my subversion be more like Rian Johnson? No. No, do not misunderstand. If Last Jedi was more like your stuff, I would be a fan. If AJ was Rey's character, if AJ was Rey the dude, like Rey, and he was the lead, and it was just him beating the crap out of people and being a Mary Sue, I would love it. I would love it. It would be brilliant. And I don't mean that in any like comedic way. I would love it if Rey was a guy and he just beat the crap out of everyone. I think it would be amazing. And if he was as masculine as AJ, he'd have to look like a man, or like the Hodgetwins. It'd have to be a dude who's like jacked and looks like he could kick ass, and he just beats people up. He doesn't even use the Force. Alright? He uses his fists. His fists are the Force. Alright? That's how it is. He's the fist of the North Star. It's like old school anime logic. How would you feel getting Hayden Christensen as Vash? What, Vash and Trigun? Crazy. Insanity. Let's do it. Reign of Fire, man. Saw it in the theater. Saw it in the damn theater. Christian Bale. There's a wonderful scene in that movie where they're acting out Empire Strikes Back for all the kids. Because they've never seen it because dragons destroyed everything. Because there's hidden dragons underground and then they come and destroy the world. Apparently our military cannot take on dragons. They're just too damn much for the world. The dragons are also very intelligent to somehow do this in a modern day. It's impressive stuff. Yes, I did. It's wonderful. But Matthew McConaughey shows up, and he's doing the like, all right, gonna kill some dragons. And he's gonna kill some dragons with Batman. And, yeah, it's awesome. I got nothing negative to say. For a modern-day B-movie, Reign of Fire's the shit, quite simply. Just laying it on the line there. I got no issues with it. Reign of Fire is great stuff. Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey fight dragons. I'm sold. I mean, that sounds like the best movie ever if you pitched it to me right now. And I can't believe I saw it as a kid and didn't appreciate it at the time when it was happening. I mean, it's like if Jesus came back and I didn't understand, like if I didn't know Christian theology or anything. I was like, who's this Jesus guy? Why is it such a big deal that he's back? That's how it was for me seeing. I didn't realize how amazing what was happening, but now in retrospect, and they have beards. Christian Bale's a beard in it. Come on, it's like bearded Christian McConaughey kicking dragon ass and acting out Star Wars. Man, Hollywood's really taken a decline. How'd we go from Reign of Fire to Wrinkle in Time? Something's off. Something's really off. There are people still defending that and saying that she's not a Mary Sue. Man, the Mary Sue argument's done. Okay, it's over. It's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that Rey is OP. If you want to use the term Mary Sue or not, which is a fan fiction term, that is whatever. If you don't like that term. But the argument that Mary Sue stemmed from was that she was too strong, and that is a weakness of character, because it relies on her just being this perfect hero that can beat people and solve things, and not so much of characterization and struggle and agency. And that's the thing, like, and that's pretty much just been shown in so many essays and analysis of this movie. So you can just stop using Mary Sue and just honestly say Rey is too strong and boring, and that criticism is valid, and then they wouldn't know what to say. They're like, that's your opinion. Like, no, I'll show you how she is. And that's where you can go into it. People seem to drop the... Although it is great every time you are like, Mary Sue? That is my favorite. Mary Sue? That's so funny. Disney's Monopoly. It needs to be Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura. You must be the Monopoly guy. And he throws him over his shoulder. You don't pass go. You don't collect $200. That's a hilarious sequence. That movie should have won an Oscar for Best Actor. It's ridiculous. We did it again. He is on the dark side. Daisy Ridley has even said that she doesn't think Rey has no weakness. Well, that's nice of her to say. Hey, don't insult cancer. What? Rey means king in Spanish. Oh, well, there we go. It also means I don't give a crap in Please Rewind. Oh, I'm trying. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the. Let me look through the chat a little bit here, and then oh. I don't know. Oh, let me just make some stupid noise. Guys are all awesome. You know, I was just talking to someone the other day how this is like the coolest chat because you guys know stuff about movies. You actually know deep cuts. You talk about interesting things. You're all funny, and nobody's got to stick up their arse. It's a good time. It's a good chat. All right, let's get back to the box office, folks. Okay, Death Wish, starring Bruce Willis shooting some mofos in the Charles Bronson remake, directed by the great Eli Roth. Tarantino thinks his movies are good. I mean, that's a good endorsement, right? Tarantino likes it. He didn't like Green Lantern or anything. It's not like Tarantino likes bad movies sometimes. No. Tarantino only likes good stuff. He's got the best taste. He never says anything ridiculous. Can't criticize Tarantino. Nope. Best filmmaker ever, really. Best of all time. Best modern day director, damn it. Can't say anything bad about him. Wouldn't dare to do it, would you? It's not like his later half of his career has been lackluster and disappointing compared to the first half, but you wouldn't say that. No, he won the screenplay for Django Unchained. That means it's great. It made money. It's great. I love Tarantino. Sure do love that Quentin. He's adorable. Anyway, $30 million budget, $23 million domestic, $13 million opening weekend. Pretty bad drop here. I don't think this film is doing that well. It's really not holding up. Yeah, the wonderful rape scene with Jeff Goldblum. I'm gonna rape your wife. That's a terrific sequence. It's really great. Oh man, killing Rey would have been so metal. If they'd have killed Rey and then like Ozzy would have come on or something with like a Randy Rhoads solo or something, it'd have been like, oh my god, yes, Rian Johnson did it. He's a genius. Disney was right. They did it. They killed Rey. Like, it would just be this wave of it. Like, we'd all be doing a wave in the theater just from sheer excitement. Like, oh my god, it happened. What is happening? Oh, it'd be beautiful. The guy who does it looks like Sharkfoot. Come on. I couldn't be happier. It'd be the best moment of my life. How much cocaine is Tarantino? I don't think Tarantino needs cocaine. I think he just is cocaine. The Trek thing's up in arms. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, honestly. Wait. Did I see? I think I mentioned that. Tarantino does Star Trek. Freaking hell. I mean, it's better than Discovery. I'll take Tarantino over Discovery. Please. I mean, really. If that's what's on the table. Quentin Tarantino Star Trek movie. Star Trek Discovery. I'll take 10 Quentin Tarantino Star Trek movies. I'll take more J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. I was just talking to someone the other day about how that first Abrams Trek movie's a fun movie. It's just a bad Star Trek movie, but it was like a fun blockbuster that summer. And there's fun scenes in it, and Carl Urban's really fun, and Simon Pegg's really fun, and there's fun scenes. And how the last movie was fun, the one that Simon Pegg wrote, that Justin Lin directed. I'm like, I'll take more of these than Discovery. I'll take anything. Give me Voyager. Voyager had the Thaw, the clown episode with Michael McKean. That's one of my favorite Star Trek episodes ever. Not just saying, oh, that's a good episode on Voyager. That's like a great episode in all of Star Trek. It's an amazing episode. It's even designed to kind of look like one of the old classic TOS episodes. So, hell yeah to that. I'll take way more of that. Give me Enterprise. Something, please. Please just not Discovery. Please stop beating me over the head with all of these things. All of this diversity you're pushing on me. You want to tell me that I'm imperfect, that I'm a white male and I don't understand. I'm trying to understand. I thought that this was supposed to be entertaining and good and cerebral and science fiction. I didn't know it was going to be this dumb, stupid crap that's convoluted and doesn't make any sense. You told me Black Panther was going to be great. You told me Ryan Coogler was making a masterpiece, but all I saw was a masterpiece of shit. What's going on here? Of course, Wrinkle in Time, Ava DuVernay, Ava Diversity, Ava DuVernay, Ava Diversity. What's her name? I can't tell anymore. Okay, wait a minute. Go back to the beginning. Yes, Wrinkle in Time. That's the one. That's the one that's going to be great. She made Selma. She's got a good eye. It's not like she's going to make a poorly edited mess that's slapped together, that's toneless, and got poor line delivery, and just a lack of understanding of not just the source material, but of film and storytelling in general. That isn't going to happen. No, Wrinkle in Time, that's the one. That's the one I'm going to like. Let's get off this NRA propaganda and get to a movie that's really exciting. Let's look at Wrinkle in Time. Come on. Opening weekend, 33 million. What? Well, that's not good. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. You misunderstood. What do you think? Selma's actually a pretty fun movie. I like Selma. I think it's very, well shot by Bradford Young. I think, David Oyelowo is very good in it. And I think it's got some good dialogue, and it's a fun movie. I think it's a very good movie, actually. I don't think it's a great movie. I don't think it's a masterpiece. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was an enjoyable movie. I did not like 13th. I thought 13th was insane. And I didn't like the narrative of it and what she was trying to say with that film. But well edited. Very well edited. Very affected. I could say, I don't know if you've ever seen Selma. Selma has like a lot of comedy in it and really fun moments. Yeah, when he goes and talks to LBJ at the beginning, and then there's actually I find it to be a very entertaining movie. It's not some movie that like I think it's a very enjoyable film. I think it's made to be kind of entertaining. I think it's about a serious subject and it's got those dramatic scenes. I'd even argue Schindler's List is a very entertaining movie. Watching drama and negative things is enthralling and entertaining. You can get enjoyment out of that if it's done in the correct way. Like there's really moments. It's moments of levity, and being and enjoying the cinematic experience. That because it's a separation. You're not actually watching this stuff happen to people. I enjoy Saving Private Ryan. I'm entertained watching the Normandy sequence as an action sequence, even though, yeah, it's awful watching these people die and the blood, everyone's dead. It's horrifying. Yeah, it's sickening. Like, oh my God, to think about. But the artistry of it and the craftsmanship is entertaining and enthralling because it's a movie. It puts me in, and Schindler's List does that. It's very entertaining, and I think Selma's a very entertaining movie. So yes, I would say fun. I don't think movies like that. Yeah, like Room's a very I think you could be invested in films like that and be entertained by them because they're not real, so it's part of the factor for me. I mean, I'm sure it's different for other people, but I enjoy pain when watching a film. I think the pain makes you appreciate the happiness and the good feelings more. You have to suffer and go through the pain, through the story, to feel the good moments, but that makes it even more rewarding and reaffirming to your own life and your own happiness. And that's what art can do. That one clip I saw of Wrinkle in Time was the single worst edited... Oh, the whole editing of the movie is insanity. Hearing you call it entertaining reminds me of that scene from The Naked Gun when they walk out of the theater laughing at Platoon. Platoon's a very funny, entertaining movie. There's hilarious lines of Platoon. John C. McKinley in Platoon. He's so great. I know guys who make it and don't make it. That's the guy who doesn't make it. And then Kevin Dillon, man, piece of pussy every once in a while. You just get a piece of pussy every once in a while. That's fucking funny shit, man. Tom Berenger, you guys need escape from reality. I don't need none of that. I am reality. That's awesome. It's very entertaining. It's meant to be. A movie doesn't make $140 million because everyone was sitting in the theater depressed and felt like crap about their lives. Platoon is an incredibly entertaining, watchable movie. It has a high watchability. This isn't one of those things you're like, oh God, I can't stare at it. It's so awful. It's a movie you're watching, you're engrossed. you're drawn in. It's exciting. Yeah. It's I'd say very much that Platoon's a fine piece of pop art. I would never say that it leans more on the art house side. It's a pop piece of entertainment. That's what's so great about it. Platoon has an accessibility to it that you didn't think you would get from such a heavy look at the subject matter, that it doesn't come off. That's like watching Herzog. I mean, I find his films very enthralling, despite them looking at life in a way that makes you do feel kind of depressed and hopeless sometimes. But then you find the humanity in it. It's not that Herzog is a nihilist and looking at things negatively. Herzog has too much humanity. He loves life too much that it's painful for you to view it through his eyes. That's what it is, man. Platoon's it's a wonderfully written, entertaining movie. There's tons of funny. See yeah, I mean it's a moving movie as well. What am I going on about? I'm going on about feelings and movies and stuff like that, and it's off the charts. Marisu. Every time he does Marisu, ER's like, God, if that guy ever comes on a live stream, I just want to talk to him. He's so funny. I think too much nihilism. I think a healthy dose of nihilism maybe in a character or two. Like Russ Cole being nihilistic in True Detective wasn't a negative because that was his character, but the whole show wasn't nihilistic. When it's all your subtext is just nihilism, then you don't have different things that are balancing with each other and creating a juxtaposition that really makes something unique. Because it can't just be one message being shoved down your throat. Hey, AJ, thanks, Bromodo. Bromodo Dragon, that's your nickname now, Bromodo Dragon. Because when you're coming for the attack, there's nothing anyone can do. If AJ just gets a bite on you, you die from the poison. That's how it works, man. Bromodo Dragon. Did you know there was a rejected Spider-Man Vietnam comic? Yes, I did know that. Okay. I don't know what's going on. This has been a crazy episode, people. I don't know where my life's at. Maybe I should just give up. Anyway, Wrinkle in Time. Ava DuVernay, which none of the stuff's listed here. Anyway, this film cost $103 million. I heard they have $150, $180 million in it. I don't know how this is going to do worldwide. I don't think this is a very popular book outside of the States, but that's just from the research I've done. I've read this, but I don't know how big this is in Europe and all that, or in Asian markets. I have no idea. I don't think it's as popular. Bad reviews. This has like 41% on Rotten Tomatoes. It didn't do well with critics. So the word of mouth going in was bad. So that probably affected this. Maybe this would have opened better. Let's be fair. This might have opened to 45 million if the word of mouth going into the weekend wasn't so bad. I mean, the reviews were bad. There was faint. It was like, they weren't trying to be as negative. I mean, even the Rotten Tomatoes consensus is really silly, where they're just like overly ambitious to a fault. And then they praise everything else about the movie. And it's like, okay, wait, if this was a DC film, you would write a consensus about how this film's terrible. You wouldn't, like, throw softballs at it, okay? Like, it's a failure. You can't... I'd actually recommend bringing up Spilligan, the Double Toasted review of this movie, Martin and Corey. They really surprised me in that review. I thought that they would come in a little bit more sensitive, but they made fun of how bad this film was. And Martin had my favorite line so far on YouTube this year, where he said, "This is making me rethink this whole diversity thing." And it's great because he's this black guy. He's in his 50s. He's a wonderful guy, and he's someone I'm a big fan of. I mean, God, I used to talk to him on the Spill days. I sent him a comic one time. I sent Martin Thomas a Spider-Man comic, and he talked to me about Spider-Man when I was like 18. I'd say a scholar of comic books, I would say that man is. But hearing him say that was hilarious. It reminded me of the Spill days, back when they didn't give a crap, and they would just say whatever they wanted. They didn't try to censor everything. Hey man, thank you, Elliot. I love all of your videos. Your live streams are really informative, and your breakdown of movies like The Last Jedi, the stuff you did was great. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. It's a weird looking movie, Bathory. Yeah, ambitious to a fault. I know, what a soft criticism. You could say that about so many movies that are terrible. It's ambitious to a fault. It's like, what defines ambition? I say they weren't ambitious enough. And that's where they screwed up. Hey, you're fun to watch, listen to, I guess. But thank you for telling me I'm fun to listen to. You're very fun to you're very fun to talk at. I'm trying to read through some of your comments here real quick. Okay, comics. I said comics, not. But thank you for the super chat. I don't get those very often. Everyone's a jerk and doesn't give me the monies. You know, I'm just kidding. But I do love it. If you have anything particular you want to ask me or talk about, since you gave me super chat, that'd be fine, because that's how it's kind of supposed to work. But I answer everyone's question. That's where I screwed up. I answer all of your questions. I don't play favorites. That's a problem I'm gonna have to work on. When will reviewers realize that just because a movie has a big budget and a lot of CGI doesn't make it ambitious? I agree. I think just making a film is an ambitious like thing to do. To try and tell a story and put a movie together, all these different pieces, and get all of the moving parts of it working together in harmony. I think that's ambitious in itself. I mean, there is a small movie, like Lady Bird's a small movie. But for Greta Gerwig, it's pretty ambitious, because she's certainly not a great technical director, so it's kind of the scale of it. I think Ava DuVernay, what that means is she's kind of out of her element here. I said that this happened with Ryan Coogler. I think that a lot of the issues with Black Panther come from Ryan Coogler not being able to handle a 200 million. I really like the cinematography of that film. Well, I appreciate you listening, though. That's really awesome. Hey, Pat, what are your thoughts on SJW like Antos and Erica Henderson leaving Marvel and now Hawkeye getting canceled? Cautiously optimistic, but I don't have hope for a lot of modern-day comics. That doesn't just say till Marvel. I'm disappointed with a lot of current comic books. What's my opinion on Last Jedi?
Know that you already do? It's not good.
3 of the top 5 movies right now are Chinese. Is China taking over? They are for their market. Their domestic market is taking over, but it isn't worldwide, no. Chinese films are not taking over the worldwide box office, for sure. Anyway, yeah, so this was an expensive movie. I'd say several things here. Bad marketing. The bad reviews didn't help. I mean, you think having Oprah and Reese Witherspoon and all those factors would have helped more. I don't know. I really like Chris Pine. I don't know. It's weird. I thought this film would do better. I thought this film would get better reviews. So really what you got to look at this is a failure in not just a sense of, as a movie, it's not doing that well or catching on. I think trying to even make this book into a movie and adapt it and also try to sell it today, I think it was a bad idea. I think Disney makes a lot of good decisions about the projects they choose. I think this was a bad decision. And it's a very rare bad decision, because consistently they've been making great decisions. They're not going to lose any money on this, okay? All of their movies are making so much money, they can afford bombs. They can afford a lot of bombs, actually. Several Disney films could bomb and it wouldn't really matter. They're at that point right now where everything's killing. I mean, we'll get to that when we get to Black Panther and how well it's doing. So, overall, this is a failure more for Ava DuVernay as a filmmaker, because this is her stepping into the big time from a more, like, low budget background. I think she was a writer, and I think she was very much known for her editing skills, her abilities, and that. Very, very knowledgeable in film, apparently. But she tried to step up to the big boy game, and Ryan Coogler succeeded, at least financially and critically he did. I don't think he did personally, but you know he did on paper, so you have to encourage it. She did not. And this might hold her back from getting work on projects as big. She was offered Black Panther, and she also did work on Force Awakens, so Disney might reconsider. Also, there had to be some behind-the-scenes drama. You can tell this movie was edited to hell. So I wonder what was going on when they were making this movie. I think my theory is that she got overwhelmed by the size of the project and had a hard time handling it. I think she was used to making films that didn't cost $100 million and had a bunch of special effects in them. That's just my theory, though. I could be wrong. There's a big difference between the blockbuster filmmaker and the indie director, and it's very tough to make a movie with where so many shots are on green screen, and you have to frame things and light things thinking about that. It's a different thing, and the approach of how you talk to the actors and how the movie has to be presented. It's very different. It's not the same thing as making Selma. And I think possibly she just wasn't ready to handle all of that, and she took on something that was way too crazy to be doing like that. I think she should have, if she was going to make a big movie, it should have been something, I think, more in her wheelhouse, just with a bigger budget. I think it was a big mistake to just go out and try to make this big blockbuster. Just didn't work out. Not much to say. It didn't work out. That was one Disney's very rare failure, because it's not common. Game Night, $7.9 million, directed by the kid from Freaks and Geeks. $37 million budget, not doing bad. $69 million worldwide, not doing great either, but not bad. Red Sparrow, huge drop, 51%. $82 million worldwide, $70 million budget. This is from Francis Lawrence, the Hunger Games and Constantine director. This isn't doing that great. I'd say it hasn't made a profit yet. And they paid Jennifer Lawrence a lot of money for this movie. So this is probably going to knock her down a little bit and mother bombed. I think we need to stop paying Jennifer Lawrence like $15 million for some of these movies. Because really, you're taking a big risk right now just assuming that she's going to sell the movie. I don't think that's a factor like it was a few years ago. And that's not me just criticizing her. I'm just saying I just think that's how it is. Things change. I don't think she's as hot as she was a few years ago. And that doesn't mean hot physically. Harambe, stop kicking your cage. Holy crap. It's not as hot, but like hot on the scene. She's not as popular in general. Maybe it's because a lot of people that were into her got older in a certain way. Strangers, Prey at Night. I thought this would do better. It's a pretty bad opening weekend, $10.4 million. I'm sure this is low budget. The original Strangers I absolutely hate, and it's one of my most hated films. I walked out. That was when I almost walked out of the theater when the guy got shot by the shotgun. That really pissed me off. So not happy. I'm glad this didn't do well. This looked like crap. I thought it would do better, but it makes me very happy to see that people didn't just go blindly see this movie. Oh man, more money. Jesus, Darkwing Dude. That's a great name, bro. Sorry, I missed your super chat. Let me check it out. Thoughts on Disney buying 20th Century Fox? I'd worried about Alien Predator franchise, but Fox has already been ruining this since the 90s. That's true, my friend. What do I say about it? Well, it's the end of the world as we know it, as REM said so beautifully. I really don't know what to... I really don't know. It's hard to say because it's just what it is. They have The Simpsons now because FX and Fox, they have It's Always Sunny, which you don't realize all the merchandise and the money these shows make when you add it all up. This is billions of dollars of revenue that they have now. They have 30% of Hulu. They now have Deadpool. They now have the X-Men franchise. They now have the Alien franchise. They now have the Predator franchise. So, in general, what you're looking at is something we haven't seen in decades since, old Hollywood. And it becomes really it's scary because Disney's dominating things at the box office. Just crazy. I mean, if you just look even at Black Panther, but in the last couple years, they've had 3 movies make over $500 million domestic. And then if you include what they're going to do with the X-Men franchise, and now that they have Deadpool, who's kind of a Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, I'd say Bugs Bunny for Fox. I think he's like, Bugs Bunny's in all the Warner Brothers stuff and how you could have... I think Deadpool's going to start showing up in a bunch of trailers because Disney's smart. And they're going to use Deadpool. They're going to have Deadpool narrate the next X-Men trailer. I have a theory about this. Think about this. Think about the next trailer for an X-Men movie, and then Deadpool stops the trailer and starts narrating it and talking crap about the other X-Men movies. That movie will make more money if Deadpool talks over the trailer than if... I think they should have done that for Apocalypse. But if you don't think Disney's going to have Deadpool show up in other movies' trailers, get ready. That's where we're coming, and... Yeah, they're gonna do all sorts of stuff. They're gonna create. Lucasfilm too, the Indiana Jones thing. I mean, because now they have Star Wars, Marvel, which they've turned into a brand that's Kevin Feige in particular has turned that into a brand that's as valuable as anything out there. It's up there with the James Bond franchise, or Star Wars, or Harry Potter. And then on the counter of that, now they have Star Wars, which they're milking for everything it's worth. But now they're going to have the Fox catalog that they can mix into the MCU so they can freshen up the MCU. Spider-Man Homecoming made a lot of money. So don't think that the next X-Men films, when they cast Wolverine and all that in their movies, don't think that won't make a lot of money. They got to get through Dark Phoenix right now, but they might even work on that. They might even be working on that right now. It wouldn't shock me if there was some behind-the-scenes stuff. You do not like Spanish. What? I don't understand I don't like Spanish? I'm not sure. I just don't understand the question, sir. What would you do if you were offered a movie with $100 million budget, Pat? Booster Gold. Easy answer. Booster Gold adaptation. I wish it could be a young Joel McHale, but he's a little too old now. But Booster Gold, made in the vein of an 80s Tom Cruise a-hole movie. Think Color of Money. Think Rain Man, right? Think Rain Man. So basically, Booster Gold is from the future, and he has technology, and he comes back and tries to con people and become a superhero by knowing the events of what's going to happen in the past. So you have a guy playing an a-hole character who comes from the future in the DC universe and tries to con people, and he's kind of becomes a joke. He's a joke because they're like, well, hey, man, we have Superman. What's the deal? And then slowly, just like in the comics, Booster becomes an actual hero and a good guy. And it'd be a better character arc than most superhero movies have, because Booster Gold's a very unlikable character. But then you make him likable, and it would make him more heroic when he actually has to become a hero. There's a great episode of Justice League Unlimited with Booster Gold, and I think that'd be a good starting point. Kind of like everyone's making fun of him after a point. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, we all know you're full of crap. And then something gets a situation where he really has to do something heroic. Yeah, possibly. I mean, definitely. Chris Pine would be a great Booster. Yeah, I like that idea, but Booster Gold, because you could make that for $100 million. It wouldn't be a heavy special effects movie, in my opinion. I would make it in like an 80s movie. My inspirations would be like John Landis. I would think about like John Landis films and try to do it like an 80s comedy, and a Tom Cruise movies in particular. But it'd be a guy who's totally a jerk, and yeah, he doesn't really prove himself. And the first half of the movie is him like fighting with people and trying to be a hero, and then in the second half he becomes an actual hero. And I think it would be a big hit too. So that's the only one I could think of immediately off the top of my head, because there's not many movies I want to make that cost that much money. I don't really have many blockbusters that I want to make, but I would like to make Booster Gold. I think I would love to make a Booster Gold movie, and I think I could make a Booster Gold movie, which is an even crazier. And here's what I meant when I said John Landis. I need to kill 2 children and Vic Morrow with a helicopter, and then I'll find genius. That's how you do it. God, I'm trying to think if there's anything else besides that I would want to do. Booster Gold's the only thing that comes to mind for that kind of money. So I don't have interest in like, I don't know how I'd spend money like that on a movie, honestly. Freakazoid? I guess a Freakazoid movie? If I could do that, if they would let me make a $100 million Freakazoid movie, I'd probably do that. Pat, can I watch some of your short films? Yeah, if I can get them on. They're on a hard drive and on a bunch of different places, but the Kylo Show, the movie, that's what I would do. I would do the Kylo Show full version. It would be a $100 million movie. Why? I don't mean Tom Cruise now. I mean Tom Cruise back in the 80s. You know, Tom Cruise back his 80s. That Jerry Maguire, even the guy who is a shell of a person who doesn't let a lot out, is kind of limited, and then slowly the humanity comes through. But I wouldn't want it to be like a bunch of fight scenes and special effects. I think you could do Booster Gold very small. I don't even think you need $100 million, but that'd be nice. Then you could have really good cinematography and the best lighting and the costumes and the sound, and you could, put money into actors and good locations. So yeah, it'd be worth it. Thank you. I'm glad you liked episode 2. Well, the Kylo Show parody Bill and Ted. It could. It definitely could. I'm a big Bill and Ted fan, and he definitely has this Keanu Reeves thing going on. The actor playing Kylo is better than... You don't understand, Dave. You don't understand. You don't know what it's like to be weak. Putting fake tears. You're going to be 35 next month, man? Crap. You could make a Kylo cinematic universe. Yeah. We're only going to do a few episodes of that show. That show's not going to last forever. That's only going to be a few episodes. But I'm happy where it's going. I think we're doing some pretty good stuff with it. We just kind of go shoot that stuff really fast. We don't spend a lot of time rehearsing it or thinking a lot of it out. We just kind of go off what we want to do. Instinct. We have an idea. Like, I had an idea in my head. I wanted to parody Breakfast Club, but I didn't want it to be obvious it's a Breakfast Club parody. I wanted the first half to not make it obvious, and then I wanted the second half to be kind of the plot twist with my classic unearned emotional payoff. And the second half, the unearned emotional payoff, which is kind of one of my gimmicks, is that it turns into a Breakfast Club parody. and we just steal all this. We basically just steal the ending and the editing and the payoff to the Breakfast Club. We basically just steal the structure because the Breakfast Club starts off as a conventional teen film or 80s comedy, and then about the beginning of the third act, even into it, it slowly kind of morphs into a drama with more nuance. And it has a very emotional ending that kind of feels more fleshed out than it did at the beginning. The song has a different meaning now, and sounds different to you because of the emotions of the character. And that's kind of what I'm overthinking it, but him playing the guitar, he did a cover of "Don't You Forget About Me" on acoustic guitar. That was pretty funny. I wanted to use the song, but we'd get copyright, so he just played a cover of it. Sharkfoot did. He just, you can hear the song. He's playing it. He does have more character development. I agree, and it's only been 14 minutes of it, and yeah, he already has more character development than Kylo had in the entirety. Well, the one thing I really wanted to do was one of the things I found very funny in The Last Jedi was when Luke goes in the tent and holds the lightsaber over Kylo. I thought of it very like it felt to me like the Who, Uncle Ernie, Tommy. Like the way Luke walks too, and he's in the rain and he opens up. Picture that as a scene with like an uncle going to rape his nephew. And he's walking in the rain and he opens up his tent and then he pulls his wiener out. Like that's all I thought when I saw that movie. I thought Rian Johnson was doing it intentionally. So that was a joke I put in that episode, was that, Kylo's explaining to me, like, my uncle came in my tent, he pulled something out, he looked down at me, and I was like, hey, I understand what's going on. So then Dave assumes that Kylo was raped by his uncle, because that's how it came off. And that's I find that, and then, when Kylo tries to later be like, well, he pulled out his lightsaber, it's like, yeah, lightsaber, okay? Like, it doesn't help him at all. Because why would it? It just makes it sound worse. That's true, Darkwing. Darkwing Duck was awesome, man. That was a good show. I hate my dad. I'm bad, and I don't want to be good. One movie later, I'm the bad guy, a supreme super leader. He's got a great arc. It's all subtext though. You don't get it. Is Sharkfoot knowledgeable in film? He knows stuff. Yeah, I mean he knows a lot about specific things. If it's something he's into, he knows a lot about it. He doesn't know a lot about everything, but if he's into something, he knows a lot about it. A few YouTubers have made a comparison of what the Luke scene being Ryan making Luke a... Yeah, that's how it felt to me, yeah. Maybe that was the implication? Maybe Rian Johnson was going for that? Maybe there was some hint of... the sense of... I don't know, maybe he was doing some Korean stuff there, some South Korean cinema stuff there, like, hey, let's go there. It does have an uncomfortable subtext, yeah, it does. Because you could really dig deep into it if you wanted to. You have a good one too, Noel. You and AJ. Go beat some people up, my friend. Did you know that once Nicholas Winding Refn had wanted to make a Wonder Woman movie with the... Yes, I did. I know a lot of... He was also making a Logan's Run remake. Okay, so Black Panther is doing huge. 38% drop, $41 million, $562 million. This should most definitely pass the Avengers now, which had $623 million. I don't see how it can't, because if it's at $41 million this weekend, it should also be able to pass Last Jedi at $618 and possibly pass Jurassic World, which I think made $652 million. And this had an opening weekend that was a few $1,000,000 less. So let's look at the hold so far for this movie, which I thought was front-loaded and was going to be just a big opening weekend that overperformed, but I was wrong, and this film is consistently performing, turning out to be one of the most impressive box office runs of the last decade ever, honestly, for being fair. It isn't quite Last Jedi, where Last Jedi was like gonna almost made $1 billion, but this is pretty amazing, all things considered. So, $202 million opening, $111 million second weekend. Then you have a $66 million there, going over. And then here we are this weekend with $41 million. So this is 4 weeks at number one now. I think this is the first film to have 4 weeks at number one since Force Awakens. So, not very big drops here, so you should expect this to even probably make $30 million next weekend. This film's not going to decline. That's evident at this point from Ryan Coogler, the director of Creed and Fruitville Station. So Kevin Feige has completely shown himself to be the producer of our times, because this is just the debut film. Now, granted, he was introduced in Civil War of a character, and it's now becoming Marvel's biggest film in a lot of ways, excluding the Avengers films. So really domestically is where this is really showing up. Even though, to my surprise, it had a $60 million opening in China. The Chinese, as we know, have not been very responsive to black films and black leads in films. It doesn't break out much. Even in the advertising, they try to not include black people. That was not a problem with Black Panther. This film did well in China. So it somehow transcended past the point of just America, which is weird, because I think a lot of things about it are so centered around African-American culture. I really don't know. Yeah, that Midnight's Edge episode, that's really... I mean, I never thought they... I mean, they're really great at talking about the business in the film, but, you know, they're not my favorite reviewers, but that's just me. I never really loved them as reviewers, but I always thought they were great. Their videos are great explaining the behind-the-scenes stuff. They make very good content. I thought they were praising it in their original review. But you know, this movie, you gotta think about it. It's pretty insane, this performance. I mean, I don't know how this translated so well. Because if it was just doing well domestically, I would understand it. But this is doing well everywhere. Like, it's made $516 million foreign. Now, that's not one of the top, you know, foreign performances of the last few years. But it's still, like, doing really well. So, I really don't know. Yeah, I was confused by that Annihilation review. That confused the hell out of me, the stuff they were saying. I really don't know. I can't figure out how this broke out. Is this? I just don't know. I've been trying to figure it out. I don't know how this is even doing well in China. How is this translating? This particular character, Black Panther, why is he doing better than Spider-Man? Why is he doing better than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Why is he doing better than Captain America and Thor, all these characters? I don't know. I really don't. It might be the thing that it's a black cast. Maybe there's a novelty to it that's catching on. That it feel. I have no idea. Because if it was, like I said, domestically, I can understand this. I don't know how this is performing as well in Asian markets, where black films just tend not to do that well. So it has to be the movie itself, like the way it looks to people and the marketing and all that. But what was it in particular? Was it the cat aspect? Was it that it's Catman? I mean, I'm just blown away by this performance. I didn't see it coming. I thought the movie would do well. There was no question Black Panther was going to have a huge opening weekend. I was even saying 145, 50 million. There was no question it was going to make money. But I didn't think it was going to make this much money. I mean, this is insane. I mean, it's about to make 1.1 billion. And more than that. I mean, I don't know where it ends. This has just exceeded all expectations. And it blew out any projections. It blew out everyone's... I mean, it's made more than it's going to pass Avengers. I mean, how the hell did that happen? I don't think it will worldwide, because that made 1.5 billion. I think it's going to have a hard time quite getting there, but it's still going to be an amazing performance. So, you know, to the failure of Wrinkle in Time, it's just covered in this massive success. This movie made enough money that it can save several films that don't make money. I mean, this is just a major this is one of the most successful films. It's just crazy. I know they like African stuff. Is it the African culture? Is it like Lion King? Is that the thing? Is it the African culture thing? Is that really catching on around the world? I really don't know. I don't know if that's the factor. Because it could be. That could be the factor that seeing African culture that way. Because I don't want to bring up the Lion King. I know some people are like, that's racist, but the Lion King was a huge playing movie. I don't know if that's because there's not a lot of movies in Africa. That possibly that's where it is, but I don't really know. If The Last Jedi were any good, it might have done the same numbers as Black Panther. I don't know. I don't really... Black Panther's making a lot of money faster. Yeah, the tribal aspects, that's appealing, I guess, worldwide. That didn't occur to me. That makes sense. Because it has to be something universal. It can't just be... But it's doing well everywhere, you know? It can't just be... something that's exclusive. So something universal's really connecting with Black Panther. And you can't predict a hit like that. That's magic when that kind of stuff happens. Isn't it the only billion-dollar earner of last year that made more money domestically than internationally? Yeah, no, Last Jedi had a very disappointing international performance when compared to Force Awakens and just what was projected and what the domestic total. And but that makes sense. I don't think I mean, it still made 700 million, but I don't see that franchise increasing at the foreign box office for some reason. I don't think it's going to catch on somewhat. Black Panther, on the other hand, I think is catching on. Now, don't get me wrong, Force Awakens made $2 billion, let's be fair. But you got to think long-term here. So Black Panther might be the franchise to really look at in the next 5, if they can keep this up. I mean, if every movie makes $1 billion, that's a new thing. I mean, has there been another film that's a debut film that's made $1 billion for a franchise? I can't think of one. I mean, Deadpool made a lot of money in that, but yeah, $1 billion for his first movie? I mean, that's crazy. So that's just an overall success. The Death of Stalin from the creator of Veep and In the Loop. 4 theaters, 181,000. Not great. Could have done a little bit better. Maze Runner: The Death Cure, 283 million. Let's see if Coco, if that's gotten any more international push. 745 million. Seems like it's going to wrap up somewhere around there. But that film did really well. Darkest Hour, if you actually look at, did really well. 242 million. So a lot of these Best Picture nominees, they said didn't do well. But if you look at their worldwide box office, really, they all made pretty good money. Even Lady Bird. Because that was in the Jimmy Kimmel monologue. These movies don't make a lot of money. But really, when you compare them to their budgets, there it is, Lady Bird. Like, Lady Bird cost $10 million and it made $64 million. That doesn't include marketing, and they spent a lot of money on that. But still, none of these movies were like bombs that they got nominated for Best Picture, excluding, like, I'd say Phantom Thread's kind of a bomb. Call Me by Your Name didn't do as good as it could have done. But none of these films really did bad. 3 Billboards, Shape of Water, The Post. They all seem to have done pretty well, from what I could see. I checked everything earlier. There wasn't really any big update. Let's see where we're at on the time. 1 hour, man. That's pretty crazy. And we're through all the movies. That's never happened. How was this so well paced? All right, you guys have any last questions? I think I'm going to end the show early because I'm still feeling kind of crappy from yesterday. Before I do that, though, let's have a word from our sponsor, which will be presented by my good friend Ben Shapiro. Ben, can you take over and talk about our sponsor? Thank you. Okay, folks. All right, we're going to talk about Blue Apron. All right. I know you guys get tired hearing about this every week. I know, folks. I know, gang. I know you're like, okay, Ben, stop talking about Blue Apron. You say the same thing every week, and I'm still not buying Blue Apron. I'm still not spending my hard-earned money, my hard-earned cash on $300 a month for this Blue Apron thing. And the idea that you think that I don't understand, that's pretty ridiculous, because if you think you have a better concept of economics than me, you don't understand that I'm a Jew and I'm a lawyer. Okay, folks? I know economics, okay? And you're just not spending your money properly. The reason that you're poor and you're hurting is because you're bad with money. To be good with money, you have to make investments, people. And Blue Apron's an investment. Okay, folks? All right, gang? It's an investment. And that's the important thing here, okay? You make a good investment. All right? And this investment that you can make really pays off, okay? Think about the time you spend cooking food or the money on gas you spend going to the grocery store, right? It's a lot of money, folks, okay? Think about all the time you spend learning how to prep meals. And maybe you're not even eating healthy food, okay? You're like making pizza rolls, mac and cheese, gang, okay? Stuff that's not good for you. All right, folks? Okay? My wife's a doctor, okay? So I know a lot about health. And me and her talk about this because we want our children to be healthy. We want them to grow up in a healthy household. All right? That's what we want. All right, gang? We want them to be healthy children, okay? So their brains can be good, their minds can be good, because you need a healthy lifestyle. All right? You are who you eat, folks. Okay? And don't get me wrong, people. I've eaten bad. All right? I've not been kosher. All right? I've broken the rule, gang. Okay? I've ate bacon. But here's the thing, folks. I was at a kosher steakhouse with my wife last week, and we were talking about this, and we were like, we could have just got this from Blue Apron, okay? So the money you're putting in saves you on gas. It saves you from going out to eat, folks, and it just saves you all this stress and worry. So think about that, all right? Okay? So really, you're saving money because you're getting better food, so you're healthier, okay, gang? You're healthier, and the money that you're saving, really, it adds up, and you come out ahead, okay? You come out ahead. So I'm really sick of this attack of, oh, Ben, you're just talking about Blue Apron. Oh, you're just selling out. You're just a corporate whore. All right. And the idea that you think that I would just do this for extra money for my podcast that I don't really need money for is pretty ridiculous. Okay. And it's anti-Semitic. All right. Okay, gang. All right. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ben. Thank you. You have a good day. You too. You too, folks. Yeah. Thanks, Ben. That was Ben Shapiro with the Blue Apron sponsorship of the week. Man, it's the same one, Ben. I wish he would talk about something else. He's just always on about that damn Blue Apron. He sure does love it. Anyway. Ready Player One is only expected to open with 35 million. I talked to Blood Money about this. No, I just think poor marketing. Me and Blood Money talked about this. The trailers to Ready Player One failed at conveying what the story was. They failed at conveying good versus evil and the bad guys. They did a poor job. They only relied on nostalgia. I think Ready Player One might be a really good movie. It could be a really good movie. That book's popular. It's so crazy. I was just talking about this. I said, that film's not going to open well. And someone's like, what are you talking about? It's got all the characters in it. It's got Chucky and the Iron Giant and all these pop culture references. It's got the Halo Spartans. And they said that film will open to 70, 80 million. I said, no, that's not the thing, man. Like, that movie's not catching on. You can sense there's a lack of hype for it. And that hype that really isn't adding up. Yeah, good job. Yeah, now you're welcome to the Blue Apron cult. Welcome. Okay, folks? You're in now. Okay, gang? All right? Once you're in. Okay? All right? Socialism doesn't work. All right, folks? All right? You got to make a decision. All right? You know, and that really is the thing. Ready Player One, they just did a poor job with, they just showed you a lot of footage. And don't get me wrong, I think the trailers are well edited. I think that Come With Me trailer's very well put together. I like a lot of the posters they did. But the problem is they're just not putting it, I don't think they've done, it could be a sleeper hit. You're absolutely right. It could be a sleeper hit. I don't think it will be. I think there's just I think they did a bad job at really, there should be hype for Ready Player One with the kind of movie it is. If it made money and Stranger Things is so huge, they should have been able to market Ready Player One. I just think the Spielberg nostalgia factor isn't kicking in like they were hoping. The DeLorean Back to the Future, I just don't know if it's translating like it did with, let's say, Force Awakens with that trailer. There was nostalgia factor. I don't feel like it is, and I'm not really sure why. But I don't think Ready Player One's going to open very well. I think 40 million, 45 is the best chance they have. The marketing only succeeded in making Ready Player One a meme. That's the thing. It kind of just became a meme. I think they were hoping on the book's popularity and all of these images of these famous things from pop culture, and I don't think they did a good job of really selling the film. Or you on the lead character. I think, yeah, it's really upsetting because I think it could be a cool movie. I really do. I don't like the book, but I think it could be a cool Spielberg movie. I will tell Harambe, I said, hey, he's a very good little bunny. Well, he's good when I'm not recording. When I start recording, he starts kicking his cage like an a-hole. But, you know, whatever. I do like the Iron Giant being in it, actually. I think that's pretty cool. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it'll be a great movie, and it'll have a bad opening weekend, but then the word of mouth will push it over the top. But we'll have to see. I think it could also be the BFG. You know, I mean, Spielberg's taking a big risk here. This could be a big bomb for him and really embarrassing. What are your thoughts on Wisecrack? I've only occasionally watched Wisecrack. They're very well edited, put together stuff, I get, but that's about it. It's very, you know, by the numbers, generic stuff that's pretty... It's just well put together. It's well formatted. Looks like a joke movie, but the concepts there... Yeah, it's kind of a mix of The Matrix and Willy Wonka. That book's awful. If you've read Snow Crash, you've read the good version of that book, but a lot of people like to praise that book because I get my references, and it's nostalgic for me, but it's like just a really bad book that steals from everything, and it doesn't steal like in the sense it's homaging stuff. It just steals stuff from other writers that are better than him that have dealt with virtual reality. But it's got a fun premise, and there are a couple nice little moments, and I think that it translates better into a screenplay in a visual medium than it does as a book. I don't think it's a very literary book. It's a very the prose and all that. It's not that impressive. I don't think it really works well as just a piece of literature. But that doesn't mean it can't make a good movie. I don't think The Martian's a very good book, but I think it made a good movie. I think some stories are that way, and they work better in different mediums. Just like I don't think Watchmen necessarily works as well as a movie as it does a comic book. Hey, Pat, what game franchise would be a good movie? I don't know, the one that somebody finally writes a good script to, put some effort in. There's a lot I think you could do with it. It's just the imagination. Portal could be good. Half-Life could be good. Anything could be good if you could make a good Mario movie if you tried. I mean, anything could be good. You know, I think Zelda, any of those could be a good movie. Metroid's the one I think has the best shot if you make it more like a silent film and film it like Gravity with Samus going on these missions and just blowing people away. Maybe even a VR movie. Like Metroid Prime with minimalism, perhaps, would be the best route to go if you want to just get that critically acclaimed one. Fortunately, I passed on Hook. Hook's wonderful, damn it. Do you think Solo will crack 2 billion? Yep, it will. I mean, Hook gets a lot of crap, too. You know, I mean, Hook got pretty crapped on by critics. It's just kids loved it. So people are nostalgic for it. But Hook really did get a lot of... Like, even Spielberg talks pretty bad about it. What was the worst good film, Hook or Mars Attacks? What was the worst good film? I don't... Mars Attacks, I think, is just genuinely a good film that I like. I don't think it's bad. Hook is like a mediocre bad movie that I love. Hook's a very watchable, entertaining, funny, emotional, good time, even though it's a very flawed, poorly kind of structured, put together, some weird stuff. But I would actually say that yeah, Hook's like a bad movie that I enjoy, and I love it, and I enjoy watching it, but I don't think it's a great movie. I don't think it's a bad movie either, really. I wouldn't say it's bad necessarily. I'd say it's a mediocre movie. Because there's a lot of great things about it. It's just kind of misguided. It feels like somebody trying to do Spielberg and not Spielberg. But Mars Attacks, I think, is just kind of underrated. I think Mars Attacks all around is just a really solid... Yeah, I hate Illumination's doing all this stuff like The Grinch and Mario, because I would like to see a 3D animated Mario movie with good writing. If it was kind of like the Lego movie, if it was done like Phil Lord, Chris Miller stuff, I could get into that. Yeah. All right, let me check. Let me see where we're at, because you guys just gave me some more super chats, so I feel kind of bad, and we're at 55, so I don't want to just wrap this up too quickly. But I really don't have anything else to do. I kind of went through all the box office, and I used up all my material of the week. So, sorry if you just gave super chat. I hope I answered your questions. Thank you for the money that added up this week. I don't normally get any, and you guys kind of did. You just made my heart go three times this size today. Is rebooting RoboCop a bad idea? It doesn't have to be, but yes. Yes, it is. Come up with something that's the new RoboCop. You don't have to just reboot RoboCop. Anyway, all right, I'm going to end the show for this week. So thank you for tuning into Box Office Addict. This is one of the shorter ones, but you guys get too many long ones. I'm going to keep this one on time, damn it. And I need to get some food and water so I don't feel as crappy. So, if you're a box office addict yourself, which is why you're watching this show, you're right, I should do the comment of the week. Thank you, Bathory, for keeping me on track. I didn't even pick one, because I always have one, and then I tried to remember it. Let's see. I did... Oh, wait, there was one comment. I'll tell you guys what it was. It was on my Twitter. There was a comment from a woman who told me... on my fail of Hollywood video, she said that, of course, you think it's tough, you hate male feminists, and she talked about hypocrisy, and she said, oh, you hate male feminists, well, how do you think it feels to be a woman dealing with misogyny all the time? And she went on this whole rant about the patriarchy and misogyny and how unhappy she is. And I told her very bluntly, I said, well, you're probably unsuccessful and unhappy because you're a very boring and unlikable person. I can just tell from your comment that you're very negative and insecure. And I would say to her, I bet money that you're boring. And she commented back, wow, you're an asshole. And I said, thanks for proving my point. You don't have a sense of humor. Make me like you, as Patrice O'Neill would say. I doubt that girl could make me laugh. I doubt she's that smart. I doubt she really has read anything on economics. I'm sure she has a very vague understanding of sociology, probably. I don't think she knows. I would put money on it that she would even say that. With my video and that video I made in particular, and she would go on and say with that what women have to deal with every day, this misogyny, and you're complaining about this thing. Sure, you should point out the hypocrisy, but you don't know what it's like. And I said, well, did you ever think that the problems in your life might stem from you sucking? And this might be a hard thing for you to deal with. And then a black guy commented to me this week on my Black Panther video, which was not saying anything negative about black people or negative towards that film's their experience for that film, but just making fun of the hyperbole in the reviews and how some of the critics were writing poor things. And they should probably put more effort into talking about this film that's important to black people. They should put more effort into their reviews and how they write them. That was the whole point of the video, was how ridiculous they were treating these things. And one black guy went on to me that went on about how white people are never going to understand. They're never going to understand the insecurity of viewing everything through race, through this this box that you live in, where you're defined by your skin color, and everything that bad happens to you is because you're black. He was saying white people aren't going to understand. And I said, well, you know what? I said, really, I guess I never will, because it sounds pretty shallow. It's a pretty shallow thing to understand. If this movie's great to you just because it's black and not because it's a great movie, then that's a shallow experience. And I don't want to relate to that, and I don't want to understand that. Because I don't view things that way. And you can call it a privilege all you want, which is fine. I'll take it. But I like having that privilege. I like that I don't have to sit there and complain about movies and who's in it. I didn't like Black Panther as a movie. It had nothing to do with the skin color. Just like I like Do the Right Thing as a movie, and it has something to do with the skin color because it matters to what that movie's about. But that's as I talked about Jimmy Cliff, the Harder They Come, one of my favorite movies, wonderful movie. It's better not to view things that way, and I think you'll be happier, and then you won't perpetuate a victim mentality that unfortunately is toxic and does spread to other people, so they get a loss of they lose hope, and that's kind of an issue. So those comments probably would have been the ones I picked of the week, but I want people to know I have no animosity or negativity. It's just annoying when I make a video that's very comedic and satirical in tone, and I'm pointing out something hypocritical, and then people come in, oh, you don't understand what a woman goes through, you don't know what it's like to be black. Well, I'm not claiming to, and the videos aren't that, and I'm not trying to attack your feelings on your life and what you feel negative about being a female or being black. That's not the point of the videos. You're the one viewing it through my skin color and the way I'm talking about it. I got a very wonderful comment this week where somebody praised my Call Me By Your Name review, a gay man, who said, you know what I love about this video is you're not talking about this film, talking about the gay aspects in this novelistic way. You're being like, you're saying, you know, when he hugs him, like it's like your girlfriend hugging you. You said you're a straight guy who's talking about this and relating it to your own life. You're finding the empathy. You're putting yourself in these situations like, well, I can relate to this. And that means he understood the video and how I approach things. I approach things from a very, I view things very, like people are people. I view things in a very pragmatic way and try to see it for what it is. I don't really try to go in with a bias. I understand I have biases towards stuff, but it doesn't affect how I try to objectively view things and talk about them. I just talk about stuff I find funny and that I find interesting. But it's no negative feeling towards anyone, and it's not trying to destroy your hope for equality or your hope for some kind of... I used to make a lot of political videos. But, you know, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, if you think you're dealing with misogyny all day, maybe you need to deal with yourself a little bit. I'm just saying, maybe self-improvement, the Jordan Peterson, clean your room. You know, clean your room. Maybe you should look at yourself a little bit, because it's not just exceptions to the rule that you should look at. You should try to be an exception in every day. Like you shouldn't settle for what you feel is. Settling's never good. It's never good in relationships, with friendships, with the decisions you make in your life. Don't settle, and accept it that way. Don't accept being a victim, and you'll at least be happier, because you'll have a dignity and a pride that's really important, and it's a good thing to have, I think. Anyway, if you watch this, you're a box office addict yourself. I'm not here to help you with your addictions. I'm here to encourage them. So please be a box office addict. Join me next weekend. As always, thank you, Bathory, for being the moderator. I'm sorry we didn't get to see Blood Money here. Thank you for all the super chats. And I'll try to get that Black Panther review out. The first episode of Real Discussions, which we're going to have to redo, but it should be coming out this week, because I think we got the audio issue figured out. It was just carelessness was the issue there. And I hope I can get more videos out for you guys, but I hope you guys like the Oscar talk and the Kylo show, and I'm going to try to make more podcasts and more long-form content to give you guys stuff. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday, and we'll play out some Sharkfoot music. I have looked at those posters. I'm actually going to talk about them pretty soon. But that's for another time, isn't it? Isn't that for another time? All right. Make sure to subscribe to Sharkfoot. This isn't his channel, but go look him up. Sharkfoot_. And follow me on Twitter, Vamian, VAMEAN. E-O-N, as you can see here. Famion. Please go follow me on Twitter if you've not followed me. I've been kind of ranting all day. I'm probably getting attacked by someone. Oh, no. No, everyone's just praising me. Yeah, if you want more of my shenanigans, check out my Twitter. Alright, see you guys.